Welcome, my darling pretties, to our Beyond the Dawn of Business podcast for pretty, empowered female entrepreneurs. It's time to step into your power, pretties. Lift each other, support the squad, and choose a life filled with the autonomy and freedom to live your dreams. I'm your host, Dawn Beth, owner and founder of Beyond the Dawn digital business brand and agency. My coffee is hot and my eyelashes are on, so we are ready to go. Hello, and welcome to this episode. I hope you're doing really well. Today I am excited to talk to you about how we can deal with things that perhaps are not our favorite, how we can deal with disappointment, how we can deal with rejection, and what it is that we can do for ourselves to soothe some of those emotional pains that not always are completely avoidable. Now, during this time of year, we obviously have Blue Monday. We're approaching that third Monday in January where everything has definitely gone back to normal now. We don't have the festive season to lean on for our joy, and we're probably thinking about all of the things that we are responsible for and stacking ourselves full of things that we need to do and to tasks and to-dos and goals and all sorts of things that can sometimes feel quite heavy. And sometimes that can change our emotional state. Now, I don't actually subscribe to Blue Monday. I do understand why it happens and why some people feel that way. But again, it is something that has been widely shared, almost like a shared experience, a collective experience. And you get to choose whether you adopt that shared experience or whether you reject it. And I am consciously making the decision to reject it. It will only be a Blue Monday if I let it be a Blue Monday. And okay, not everything is perfect. Even for me in my life right now, there are things that are definitely not on the highest level of joy scale and stuff that I'm dealing with. But isn't that the human experience every single day? So in terms of your Blue Monday situation, I totally want to just first and foremost say that if you are feeling blue on Blue Monday, you have permission to do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better as long as it doesn't harm somebody else. I'm talking get yourself the Ben & Jerry's and get back to bed, or binge watch Emily in Paris if that's what you need to do. Go back to the 50 Shades trilogy and have another read about Mr. Grey. Whatever it is that you want to do to brighten up your day, please give yourself permission to do so. If, however, you're feeling quite strong, you're feeling okay, and the idea of Blue Monday is being thrust upon you with the culture of everybody talking about it on media and on the TV, then perhaps you want to bring up your invisible shield and actively reject it. For everybody who feels a little bit down on Blue Monday, I really want you to know that it's totally acceptable for you to have that emotion, and lots of people feel that way. It is a bit of a drag. We've gone through a fantastic festive period and now it's all over, and there's lots of responsibilities and things that we have to think about, and it does sometimes feel a little bit heavy. That being said, there are always ways that we can protect ourselves, if you will, or even enhance our experience towards the scale of more happiness and joy. But we have to be super conscious about it. We have to be aware of it, and we have to allow ourselves the opportunity and permission to do the things that will help us. So if you're feeling a little bit rough right now in terms of not kind of being able to be your strongest self emotionally, then I want you to really consider what it is that brings you back to life, what brings you back to balance point. So often it can be really simple things like hydrating well, having a decent night's sleep, hygiene practices, but it can also be smaller things like wearing your favorite outfit or listening to your favorite music or snuggling up with your cat and your favorite book. For me right now, I am living for the emotional replenishment that is provided I can't believe I'm about to say this, by my heated blanket. I'm not even going to lie. I got a heated blanket for Christmas. It feels like the best gift I've ever been given. I got lots of amazing, wonderful gifts, but this one is the one that I'm literally daydreaming about whilst I'm at the studio. Well, I can't wait to get back home to, because it just brings me so much joy. Now, depending on who you are and what it is that you love to do, it might be your favorite coffee. It might be speaking to somebody in particular. It might be taking yourself off to the cinema. It could be a whole host of different things. But whatever you need to do right now to make yourself feel better, I totally give you permission. Loving permission, not that you ever need it from me, but I'm going to give that to you anyway. Total loving permission for you to go and do that thing that makes you feel good, as long as it harms nobody else. And this is also something that you can do when you are in a moment of feeling rejected, or in a moment of feeling quite sad about circumstances that have been disappointing to you. So one of the things that has been really working for me, I have had a couple of disappointments recently, some personal ones that have been deeply painful, and also some work-related ones, which actually, it's funny because I was saying, the personal ones were deeply painful, and then I'll be like, and some business ones, and I'm almost kind of invalidating the experience by going, yeah, it's just some business ones, and they're not allowed to be painful because that's not personal, it's business. And my favourite film of all time is You've Got Mail with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. And there's this amazing thing, and as I'm saying this, I'm wondering whether this is already featuring on a different podcast, because I feel like I probably will have told you guys this before. But there's this point where Tom Hanks is putting her business out of, putting her bookshop out of business. And she is sad about it, and he's like, it's not personal, it's business. And she's like, but it's personal to me because my business is personal to me. So I don't know why I was just about to invalidate my own feelings there. Did you see me catch it? Like, I hope you could hear me actually have that moment when I realized what I was doing to myself. The business disappointments were deeply painful too. There you go. I'll just say it. They deeply affected me emotionally, perhaps in a slightly different way, but they were also painful, and that's okay. One of the things we can do when we're in that state of being rejected or having a disappointment is we can internalize the issue as though it's our issue, it's our fault, it's something we did. If you've ever had people pleaser tendencies, you will probably have immediately given yourself a chance to blame yourself for the situation, right? It's gonna be my fault. It's totally gonna be me. I did not do the exact perfect thing in the exact perfect order. And now I am, in this situation. What could I have done? What could I have changed? And although I've spoken about radical responsibility previously, and it is an excellent practice for you to review things that have happened, I also think it's really important for you to recognize that quite a lot of the things that happen that make us feel bad, and that are, situations that we would prefer to avoid, are often nothing to do with us. It's part of the human experience, and often to do with other people's choices and other people's situations. Of course, we connect to other human beings, and occasionally we're going to have the fallout of the decisions that those human beings make. And sometimes it will have something to do with us, and we'll know if it does. But if you're not sure, it's very likely that it's not personal and you're just dealing with life, my friend. The many colourful shades of life experience, of the human experience, and the things that we embrace whilst we are on this earth. You can probably count on your hand the times that you have given yourself self-love and compassion when you're in those moments, before you try to blame yourself or attach evidence to feelings that perhaps you could have done something differently or had control. And I'd really love you to explore that for yourself, just like I did when I was just about to invalidate the pain that I have suffered with some of the business disappointments that have happened recently. Like, how often are you invalidating your own experience? I used to find it really difficult when people would say that I was sensitive, because I always took, oh, Dawn, you're so sensitive, as a negative thing. And I realized that there are so many things that we say to each other, and more importantly to ourselves, that have this underlying shame and bias towards it not being okay to have feelings, or it's not okay to express feelings, or it's not okay to be sensitive or to pick up on things or be empathetic. And that's just no way to live. So I don't want to leave you on a sad note. I want to remind you that you have the opportunity and the possibility to change your own perception and lift your own spirits a little bit every single time something like that happens. So the first thing that you can do if you suffer something that feels like a massive disappointment is, first of all, let's explore it. Let's validate our feelings around it. I feel this way. I feel this way because this is what happened, and that made me feel, and I reacted like this, and they reacted like that made me feel, and dig deeper into your own situation so that you can be really clear with yourself over what is happening and how you feel about that situation. One of the things that I find really interesting is just how much we bury ourselves in our subconscious because we don't want to handle difficult situations. We also don't want to take the blame for things if there is any possibility that we may have played a part. I think it's really good to initially give yourself the compassion to know that you may have played a part. You may not be blameless, although I hate the idea of blame, but you may have had some part in it. Very often we don't. Very often it's not personal. But if you explore it and you find that you did, give yourself the compassion and forgiveness that that's okay. It's done now. There's nothing else that can be done about it. Only you can change what happens next. Only you can make the choices and the next steps that you need to make for yourself to be okay. And what can you do to validate your experience and give yourself that compassion, and for you to find a way through the difficulties, whatever those difficulties may be. So maybe write down a few key points of things that have happened recently, and remind yourself of why you deserve to have feelings, why you deserve to give yourself self-compassion. What is it that you need to get through the next few days, the next few weeks? These are all really, really good kind of self-regulation tools to allow you to alter the perception of the situation you're in, and perhaps let go of some of the anger and try to control the external situation when we often cannot control the external situation, and manage and self-regulate the internal experience, because we force ourselves into a state where we're actually suffering, and quite often that suffering is driven by our own emotions. So if you can find a way to get it out of your system, to give it some air, to give yourself the things that you need to love yourself and to be compassionate to your situation, looking for evidence of why it is now possible for you to move forward or learn from that thing, give yourself that level of forgiveness, you will likely find that actually it's not such a blue Monday, it's not such a blue January, and there are things that can be done to bring those elements of happiness and joy back into your life. Whatever your situation right now, I'm sending you a world of love. A massive thank you to everybody who has reached out to us over the Instagram Glow and Grow course. We have loved receiving all of your wonderful feedback. I'm so glad that it went live over the festive season and everybody is really enjoying the course. Please do come and join us in our free group. And as always, sending massive love to you all. Speak to you soon. If you're loving our Pretty podcast, come on over to Social Pretties, our online safe house and sisterhood community. It's a safe space where female entrepreneurs connect and thrive in a warm, welcoming fold of pretty amazing women. You'll find an easy redirect in the description, and I can't wait to see you in there. And depending on where you're listening right now, we would love it if you would click subscribe or follow so that you can be the first to know when our new podcasts come out.